Today in this video we will talk about variation. We will construct different models for different variation types. We are going to construct a model for direct variation, for inverse variation, and for joint variation. So to talk about direct variation first, direct variation, let x and y are the two quantities. Y varies directly with x, or y is directly proportional to x if there is a non-zero number k. So k is non-zero number, it's a constant. In the formula that we use for direct variation is y equal kx. So this k is a non-zero constant of proportionality. So k is called constant of proportionality. Now, I'm going to underline very important vocabulary words that you guys will see them on the test in different questions. So this one, the one I'm talking about, is right here. I'm going to underline it. Varies directly and directly proportional. And this is going in exactly in this order. Like I said, y varies directly, right, with x, or y is directly proportional to x. So this k is varies directly or directly proportional, and k is called constant of proportionality. Now the graph that usually goes for the direct variation is something like this. That's a y and that's an x. So if y varies directly with x, it means x greater or equal 0 and k greater than 0 is a constant. This is a constant of proportionality. So then the graph shows the relationship between y and x. Note here that the constant of proportionality is in fact the slope of the line. Do you see this? This is the slope of the line. Slope of the line. If you guys remember, you guys do this in 8th grade, y equal mx plus b, which is a slope intercept form, and that mx, that m is the slope. So this one look like that, y equal mx. So that's why they said the k is a slope of the line. So let's do some of the examples for this. The monthly payment P on a mortgage varies directly. So I'm going to underline the stuff before we start doing this question. Please guys, read the question 2-3 times, understand each and every part of it, and then when you read it once, you read it twice, then go back the third time, just try and underline the stuff. The monthly payment P on a mortgage varies directly, which means I know the formula was y equal kx. I'm just going to write up there on the top, with the amount borrowed b. If the monthly payment on a 30-year mortgage is this, right, that's a p. For every $1,000 borrowed, that's a b. Find a formula that relates the monthly payment p to the amount borrowed b for a mortgage with these terms. Then find the monthly payment p that I'm looking for when the amount borrowed is $200,000. So I underlined everything. Now I'm going to write it down here. I underlined the important information. I'm going to read and try to write down every important information that I have, and I will find a formula. The monthly payment p, right there, on a mortgage varies directly. You know, varies directly formula is p, y equal kx, which I wrote it down up here in the corner. So k is going to stay, varies directly. These things going to stay the same. with the amount borrowed B. So do you see, instead of YX, we are using P and B. If the monthly payment on a 30-year mortgage is, if the payment is $6.25 on a 30-year mortgage for every $1,000 you borrowed. Okay, this is one information, like these two are together, by the way. Then we have find a formula, which we already did. Then find the monthly payment P when the amount borrowed is $200,000. Now pay attention closely. This is another piece of the information, right? Now, what are we looking for? I said that before. I'm going to say it again. Read the question several times, underline the way I did it. Then I wrote down the information, and here is we found a formula. And then I will start what they are asking me. I'll start actual question, solving my actual question, what they are asking me. So this is the information, what they are asking me, right? They are asking me what is the payment if we borrow $200,000, right? So I'm gonna write down all of that information there. P I'm looking for, K I don't know it, but the B is $200,000, right? For all of this. So now you pay attention closely. I don't have K. P they are asking me to find, but I don't have a K. So if I don't have K, I can't find P either, because two missing variables in the equation doesn't work. We can't do it. So we have to find this K. How do I find this K? This is another piece of the information that they gave me in the beginning. This is the information that I'm going to use to get this K. So let's put the information there. 6.25 is the payment. K we don't know, but B is $1,000. Okay, I know this is my information that I really want to write here, and I'm gonna look for that P when we borrow $200,000, but I have to get this K. So let's get the K. Divide $1,000 both sides. You know, to get the K by itself, I have to divide 1,000, because K and 1,000 multiplying, opposite operation is division. So when I divide, I am using a calculator, I'm getting K equal 0.00625. So that's the K. Now I got the K. Now I'm going to go back what they were asking me to find P. Now my K is 0.00625 times $200,000. When you multiply, you are getting $1,250. So what is the payment when I borrow $200,000? The payment is $1,250. When I borrow $1,000, the payment is $6.25. So that's what they were asking me. Now, the graph, here is the graph. It illustrates do you see the slope is increasing? Because if you pay attention, the more money you borrow, the payment is going to increase. So if I borrow $150,000, then the payment is going to be between $800 and $900 and $1,000. Since I'm borrowing $200,000, so the money is between $1,200 and $1,400, and you can tell there is 13. Like for example, there is 1,300. And since my line is coming up here, so that's 1,250. So it's increasing. More money you borrow, the payment is going to increase. Okay, let's go to the inverse variation now. Now I'm going to work on inverse variation. Inverse variation is, again, if you have x and y quantities, then we're going to write, you will see the wording, y varies inversely with x, or y is inversely proportional. Proportional to x. The formula is y equal k over x. That's inverse proportion. Inverse proportion is always you get division. Okay, so that's inverse proportion. In the graph for this look like something like this. That's y and that's x. Okay, k is greater than 0 and x is greater than 0. So let's solve this word problem up here. The maximum weight W, and I'm going to underline the information, that important information that we need. So I have the maximum weight W that can be safely supported by a 2-inch by 4-inch piece of pine varies inversely with its length L. So varies inversely, length L, and that's a W. So let's make a formula of that. So I'm going to make a formula which is W, maximum weight that can be safely supported by 2-inch by 4-inch piece of pine varies inversely with its length. You know that was the inverse formula, right? K over x. So instead of k over x, we are using different variables, k over L. Experiment indicates that a maximum weight that 8 foot long, so the L is 8 foot long, 2 by 4 piece of pine can support is 400 pounds. So that's the weight, 400 pounds. You see, that's weight, that's length. Write a general formula relating to maximum weight. So we're going to write a formula that relates the W and L, which we already did right here. Find the maximum weight. Find the weight that can be supported by a length of 20 feet. Now look at this. This is one piece of information, that's another one. So I'm going to start what they're asking me like I usually do. So I have W I'm looking for right there, and K over 20, L is 20. Now if you pay attention, I don't have a K. So in order for me to get the K, I am going to use the other information, which is right there. I'm going to use that information, K over L. So W is my 400. This is what I'm doing right now. 400, K we don't know, L is 8. Times 8 both sides, they cancel. And I'm left with K equal 3200. So that's the K. Now I already have a K, then I'm going to go and get and plug in that K over there. Divide by 20. So the answer is going to be the W, you divide this, and the answer is the maximum weight is 160 pounds. And that's what they were asking me for the answer. Maximum weight that can be safely supported by a length of 20 feet. So that's what the answer is going to be. And this is what the graph look like for that. Okay, let's do this question. A student GPA varies jointly with the average amount. So we're going to do varies jointly, which means we are going to put together some of the variables. The average amount of time he or she studies each week. So what is the, let's do for students GPA, I'm going to use the variable G, varies jointly with the average amount of time studying he or she studies each week. This whole thing I'm gonna do by S. We're gonna represent this by S. In the average amount of time, you can use your own variables, doesn't matter unless they specifically give you the information for the variables. In the average amount of time spent sleeping each week is going to be, let's do R. And varies inversely with the average amount of time spent on social media each week. Social media spent time is going to be F. Write an equation that relate these quantities. Now if you see, they are asking only write. I don't have to solve, I just have to write it. So let's start. G varies jointly with the average amount of time he or she study, which is S, and the average amount of time he spent sleeping each week is R, and varies inversely, inverse is fraction, with the average amount of time spent on social media, which is F. So you put them together, both of them. So that's your writing equation, and that's the model they were asking me. Okay, let's do another question, and this is the last question. The force F on a wind on a flat surface positioned at the right angle. So force F of the wind varies jointly with the area of the surface in the square of the speed. So I'm gonna go F varies jointly. I'm gonna go K. It will be like varies jointly in the beginning. It's like if you guys pay attention, that's like a direct proportion unless they specify inversely something, then I'll do inverse, I make a fraction. But this is why F equal K. A is area of the surface and the square of the speed V. Square of the speed V. And they are giving me in this question variables, so I'm using their variables. So this is my formula. Now let's get the information. So the information said a wind of 20 miles per hour. This 20 miles per hour, you know that's a V. Miles per hour, that's a speed, right? V is a speed. Blowing on a window measuring 3 feet by 4 feet. 3 by 4, and that's the area. Has a force of 120 pounds. 120 pounds is the force. So this whole thing goes together if you pay attention. The speed is 20 miles per hour, area is 3 by 4, which means 12, and the force is 120 pounds. Now what force, which means I'm looking for F, does a wind of 40 miles per hour, again that's my speed, miles per hour is always per hour, miles, that's a speed, exert on a window measuring 4 feet, the area is 4 by 5, which will give you 20. Now this is the information that actually I need to figure it out, right? So I'm going to plug in everything in this formula, the one they were asking me up here. I'm going to write a formula, KAV squared. So F I'm looking for, K I don't know, A is 20 and V is 40 square. But if I don't have K, I can't find the answer. So again, we're going to use this information up here so I can get the K. Then area is 12 and then V is 20 squared. Then in this case, when you solve this, you're going to get K equal 120 over, I think it's 4,800. You can use a calculator on it to solve it. So K is equal 1 over 40. So I got my K. Now I'm going to go back and plug in that K in here to get that F. So 140, 20, and 1600. 40 times 40 will give me 1600. You solve this, you're gonna get F equal 800 pounds. So do you guys pay attention what I did? I mean, the information in the question they're giving me, it doesn't mean it's useless. You just write it down and always start what they're asking me. Like I started here and I said, okay, this is what it is and I need a K. How do I get K? I'm going to use this information again in the formula to get the K and plug in. And that's exactly what I did with each one of them. If you guys have any questions or don't understand something, I can please comment below and I can make a video specifically on that. Please subscribe, and if you like the video, you learned something, like it. Thank you. Bye.